So it appears that Jordan Peterson has lost his mind. Now, Justin Trudeau sent out a tweet, obviously the Prime Minister of Canada. He sent out a tweet saying, if you're taking care of some last minute Christmas shopping this week, here's something else you can add to your list: a booster. If you're eligible for one but haven't gotten it yet, please do so now. And if you don't have your first or second dose, now's the time to get it. So obviously, if you haven't got your first or second dose, it's not too late, but man, you are really, pushing it, obviously. So this is a simple tweet. Obviously any sort of responsible governmental leaders is very milquetoast. This is not some kind of controversial take in any way, shape, or form. It's not as if he's saying this will be mandated, you'll be forced to get this, or not even saying the soft mandates of oh, you'll be fired if you don't get it, or you can't go to any events if you don't get it. It's absolutely none of that. This is just your run-of-the-mill typical you should get vaccinated recommendation to people, because obviously as a governmental official it's your job to protect the public health. Obviously you're not always going to do that, but that's supposed to be one of the biggest jobs. Obviously, with the new Omegatron variant going around, the booster is shown to have 70% protection, whereas, I think post 6 months, I think it plummets to 40% if you don't have the booster, or maybe even less than that. So, a very run-of-the-mill milquetoast tweet, not anything controversial in any way. Jordan Peterson completely goes insane. He says, "Up yours, Justin Trudeau. Seriously, you'd have to kill me first." And it's just I don't know what he means by up yours. I mean, I don't know if that's a Canadian thing. You Canadians in the comments can let me know if this is some kind of Canadian saying, or maybe it's just a crazy saying. Maybe it's up your ass or something like that kind of thing is what I'm imagining. But he's here, he's here having this very extreme response to a tweet that's just simply recommending getting the booster, and if you don't already have the first or second dose of the vaccine, to get that vaccine. And he's saying, he's going so far as to say, you'd have to kill me first. So I think everybody knows by now that Jordan Peterson, and this is not to make light or shame or say anything bad about anybody who's addicted to absolutely anything, but people know that Jordan Peterson almost died from a benzodiazepine addiction now. Benzos are only supposed to be used for very short periods of time as a stopgap to then be put on more long-term medications like SSRIs and those kinds of things. But I guess he was taking benzos long-term, which is very bizarre. I think his wife had a cancer diagnosis, a recurrence. So, I guess he had a lot of trouble with that. And then, even more surprisingly, he decides that he's going to go to Russia. And the plan of medical treatment for this is going to be to actually be cut off cold turkey. That's right, cold turkey off of benzos. I mean, if you know anything about benzos, you know that can essentially almost kill you. It's so dangerous, though. Withdrawals in general of any sort of strong substance is so awful for you and can kill you, and it's no different for benzos. So it was just crazy. I mean, dude almost died. So him saying you'd have to kill me first is very bizarre, as well as the fact that this is medically related and you're getting medical stuff from Jordan Peterson. And obviously, remember, Jordan Peterson is the guy who says if you don't have all of your ducks in a row, every single duck in a row, you can't say anything. You can't advocate for social justice if you don't have, your room isn't clean or something like that. So he's in violation of his own thing. That's obviously a very stupid bar to set. Even if you're somebody who's addicted to drugs, let's say you say, hey, don't do drugs, I'm addicted and I know what it's like. Am I not going to take your advice because you're a drug addict? No. It's obviously still good advice even though you're a drug addict. So you can even have issues in areas and your advice even on that specific issue still be fine. So Jordan Peterson is obviously a clown altogether. All around, he's a joke. But this isn't even a mandating tweet. He's not sending out a tweet saying that it's going to be mandatory or that it's being mandated. He really is not saying anything even in the slightest controversial. And it's just, I don't know, man. It's just very, very bizarre to see this kind of response. But he tweets all day long. Jordan Peterson, I guess he's just a Twitter guy now. He just tweets all day long. I guess that's his job now. and so he's bound to have his off the rocker moments. He has this interesting streak to him where he has like this fetish for being a martyr. I remember seeing him trying to advertise himself this way when it came to the gender pronoun stuff. He was on some Canadian news show, and he's like, if they find me, I'm not going to pay it. I'm not doing this. He was trying to advertise himself in this very heroic and martyrdom stance. So he has some weird psychological issues with that. I don't know what those stem from, but he's all about being a martyr. You have to kill me first. I'm not doing it. I'm going to jail for this. So, he's very, I don't know if that falls under, narcissism or what, but dude's just a weird clown all around. And a lot of people obviously, making fun of him. So I'm saying, but I thought you already double vaccinated. Why take 2 jabs and not the third? So whether or not Jordan Peterson is actually vaccinated, I can't really confirm or deny whether he's vaccinated or not for sure. But, there is this new phenomenon that is popping up where it's all about people who are joining the anti-vax grift who actually themselves are vaccinated. So I wouldn't be surprised if Jordan Peterson was vaccinated. He's also obviously a very old, old person. This one says, a bit of life advice for you. From time to time, you're going to find people will politely suggest something is good for you. It is going to be important you are able to handle this without losing your rag or having a breakdown. So this is the thing, clean your room, Jordan, obviously his dirty ass room. And so it's just, the guy is just somebody who is not somebody to really be taken seriously. And, like I was saying about the new grift that's going on where people are vaccinated and they won't tell you if they're vaccinated either. So, Jimmy Dores is an example of this. He's somebody who's vaccinated, but he's doing the anti-vax grift. And so it's a really good way. Anytime you can generally say that you're from a certain side and then attack that side, you're generally going to get more support from the other side. So you see that with, left-wing grifters who turn out to be right-wingers like Dave Rubin, for example, because he was on TYT, because he's gay, and maybe in the future he won't be gay anymore. I mean, that's his next step, right? That gives him points with the right wing. So if you're vaccinated, like Jimmy Dores, and you say, oh man, I'm having all these nocebo effects and all this stuff, then, he's going to get spurred on by those people. So there's this new grift. I don't know if Candace Orleans is vaccinated or not. I really am not sure. But, I wouldn't be surprised if, she was vaccinated. And Dave Rubin wouldn't even say if he was vaccinated or not. He likened his, vaccination status to something personal about who he's had sex with or something like, I don't know, something more, personal like that. So that's obviously not the case. Whether you're vaccinated or not is not HIPAA. Okay, that's not what HIPAA is. HIPAA is I can't call your doctor and ask about your medical records. HIPAA is not you don't have the ability to respond to my question about what your medical status is. If I ask you, if you're vaccinated, that's not HIPAA. If I call your doctor and say, is Dave Rubin vaccinated? That's HIPAA. Obviously, the doctor can't tell me. So, a lot of people just making different stuff up for themselves. But Jordan Peterson, yeah, I mean, the guy's just a clown. Let's keep it real. The booster is obviously something that is shown to be effective, especially against protecting against this Omegatron variant that is out now, the Omicron variant. So, again, not a controversial tweet on Trudeau's part. Don't know why Jordan Peterson is getting off his rocker. I really have no clue.